Hello, class. It's great to meet you once again. So today we'll be looking at another separation technique. The last time we met, we considered evaporation and crystallization. So today we'll be looking at another separation technique with a separate principle, different from the others that we've discussed so far. So today, the technique we'll be considering is called simple distillation. Okay, it's called simple distillation. And the objective of the lesson today will be that you should understand the principles of distillation, and not just understanding the principle, but also applying this technique in practical context. Okay, knowledge become relevant when you know its applications. Okay, so what is simple distillation? What is distillation generally? Distillation is a technique. So distillation is a technique used to separate solvents, okay, from a solution based on the difference in boiling points. Okay, so when do we use this technique? We use this technique when the boiling point of the solvent we're interested in is different from the boiling point of the solution or of another solvent that is dissolved in. Okay, take for example, you have a mixture of alcohol, okay, in water. Okay, alcohol has a boiling of 78. Okay, and then water has a boiling point of 100. So you can see the difference here will be capitalized upon, okay, to use simple distillation to isolate the alcohol from the water. Okay, so fresh water even can be obtained from your seawater using the same technique. Okay, because the boiling point of water is lower than that of the salt that it contains. So you can actually get the water, fresh water, out from the sea water. Okay, another mixture we can get from this is fresh water from sea water. Okay, so let's look at other mixtures that we can get from using this technique. Your petroleum can also be, the fractions in your petroleum can also be isolated using the same technique. Okay, so though that one is a more sophisticated setup that will require a fractionating column, okay, because the boiling point of these components are of narrow range. Okay, so the procedure on how to carry out distillation includes heating up the mixture to the boiling point of the desired solvent. Okay, take for example, you want to get alcohol from a mixture containing alcohol and water. That means you will have to boil the mixture to 78 degrees Celsius. You must ensure the temperature does not exceed this temperature so that what the vapor you'll be getting will be those of alcohol and not of water. Okay. What are the apparatus we use for this technique? Okay. Well, we use the major apparatus we use are instruments U. Okay. We have your flask. Okay. You have your thermometer. You have your burner, Bunsen burner, whatever burner you so desire to use. You have your condenser and probably your beaker or flask, depending on the one you prefer. Okay, so it involves two processes. Okay, this separation technique involves two processes. The process involved are one, evaporation, and then condensation. Okay, these are the two processes involved in simple distillation. Okay, so let's look at the diagram on the left side of the screen and see what it looks like. So this is a diagram illustrating the separation of fresh water from salty water. Okay, you know, countries like the Arab and the likes, they get their water from the ocean. And the ocean is kind of very salty, so you need this technique, distillation, to get fresh water, okay, from your seawater. So you can see the presence of heat here. That's your burner, okay. There's a source of heat. After heating this mixture, you can see your thermometer here, placed down here to measure the temperature of the vapor coming out. In this case, we're trying to isolate water, trying to separate water. So that is why we have the boiling point at 100 degrees Celsius. Okay, I will maintain that temperature throughout the course of this process. So the water, the vapor from this boiling salt water now moves into what we call the condenser. Okay, and what will the condenser do? The process of converting your liquid to vapor is known as the first process, evaporation. Okay, and then when this vapor gets into the conical flask, into the condenser, rather, the condenser condenses this vapor. And that's the second process known as condensation. Okay, and then the water, fresh water, drops into another flask here. Okay, you can use a beaker or anything to collect the water. This particular water is safe for drinking. There is no single salt in it, and every germ or whatever will not be found here. So water is completely pure and safe for drinking. Now, how does this condenser work? To be good, you know how it works. Cool water is passed down through this point and let out through this point. The condenser has two layers, as you can see. The condenser has two layers, as you can see. So the inner layer is where your vapor passes through. The outer layer is left for the water to enter and to go in and out to ensure the inner core is always cool. As long as the inner core is always cool, any vapor that goes into it will condense. Okay, will condense because it will experience a drop in temperature. Okay, that will make it condense to form water. This same process is carried out when you want to also get your alcohol from a mixture of alcohol and water. Okay, so So that is basically what we need to note. Another thing we need to note is for you to use this simple technique, you will have to ensure that the mixture is miscible. When we say 2 or 3 liquid mixture is miscible, we mean when you mix them together, they form one phase, no single layer formed. Okay. Water and alcohol is miscible, but water and oil is not miscible because you have the oil floating on the water. That one, you don't use this technique for it because that mixture is immiscible. Okay, so ensure that the mixture is miscible. Okay, and then you will also ensure that only one solvent is needed at from the bulk of the mixture. So these are the two things you need to note when using this technique. Okay, so take your time and go through the quiz questions. Till we meet again. Bye.